Hi everyone! For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rebecca of Phoenix Art Studio and Jewels of Enchantment on Etsy.com. I'm an artist and also I make polymer jewelry. Today I'm going to show you how to make some polymer earrings. I recently had a customer purchase my Rainbow Celtic Iona cross. It's sort of hard to show you, but she also, while she was browsing through my shop, really fell in love with these earrings. I'm trying to show you a little bit what they look like, except that she'd really like for the earrings to match her new cross. So the first thing that I need to choose is my polymer that I'm going to work with. Now the earrings, if you look on the back, are made out of a silver polymer, but her cross is made out of a gold. So I'm obviously going to pick a gold polymer to work with. For those of you who aren't familiar with polymer, there are different kinds. There's Sculpey, Primo, Kato. Right now I'm going to use Sculpey 3 in gold. It comes in a little square like this. You can get it at pretty much any craft store. But what you want to do is just pull apart some and knead it into like a ball. And you're going to get Arnold Schwarzenegger crazy strong hands if you do this enough times. But once you get it into a ball, you're just going to flatten it and put it through a pasta machine. I don't actually know if they use pasta machines anymore for pasta making. I've only ever seen them in craft stores at this point. But once you've put it through your pasta machine, it should be a little flat section like this. I put it through the first one. It makes it the thickest that you can on the pasta machine. I think it's setting 1 or something like that on mine. But I have a lot to do with this polymer. I have a lot that I'm going to be doing with it, so I want it to be at the thickest setting so that it has a little bit of substance there. Once you do this, you're going to emboss it. For the earrings, they have a little flower that I got from an old link on a bracelet that broke. Rather than throwing the bracelet away, I just am reusing it now to create other beautiful jewelry. But you can use anything. I mean, you can use stamps. I've used stamps a lot of times. They certainly sell like little, I think they're called texture sheets or something like this, that you can purchase. I will take erasers and make my own little stamps from them. Or you can just use leaves, rocks, whatever you find, fabric that you think has an interesting pattern or texture. Okay, so here we have our polymer. I've already placed my flower in a variety of spots, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm just going to cut them so that they're a little bit more manageable instead of having them all in one piece. Actually going to discard that one. That one was an accident. So, anyway, now we have several of them. Now what I'm going to do, maybe I'll take this one so you can see it a little better, because it has a little channel of beads. I'm going to create that using this little bar. I have no idea what this little bar thingy was originally for. I think it came in some random kit. I think it might actually be for when you make beads, but if you don't have a random bar thingy, I would suggest getting a thick piece of wire. That will work just fine. And the reason I'm doing that is just so that I have somewhere to lay my beads in. It's a little bit easier than trying to push them into the polymer itself. Then I'm going to take my little flat knife. Sorry, I think my hand's probably covering that for you. And I'm going to cut away parts. And then I'm going to square it up. Let me try so you can see that a little better, maybe. Since I'm using both hands, it's a little hard to video it. But here we go. So this is my basic piece. Okay, so as you can see, I've created a lot of little earrings. And the reason I've done so many is firstly because when I bake these things, I really want as many as I can. I mean, it's much more economical for me to make a lot of things to bake than just use the electricity for one or two earrings. The other reason is because anytime I do a custom order, I always make 2 pairs of whatever it is. So I've made, at least 2 pairs of these earrings that I'm going to do for Lisa, specifically because I'm asking a lot of my clay. I mean, there's so many steps before these will be finished, and quite often, frankly, because I am asking so much of a very tiny, I mean, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick clay, not even, it does tend to break, or I'll have things go wrong. So I'd rather have a backup just in case one of the earrings doesn't turn out. That way I don't completely waste my time. So 2 pairs of these will be for Lisa. Obviously she'll be purchasing 1, but 2 of them will be exactly the same. And the rest are just playing around because this rainbow cross does have so many colors in it that I'm not exactly sure how I want the combinations to be on this. This is a pretty intricate pattern, whereas this one, it's fairly simple. It has a flower, but really all of these colors are going to have to be fit in, relatively small space. So I'm going to be kind of playing around with color and seeing which I like best. Now you might notice, if you can see, I'm not sure, in these earrings that they have a little bit of a intricate pin design on the edges. I made that essentially with this little, I have no idea if it's an awl. I actually think, since I discovered it in my kitchen drawer, that it's a ice pick or whatever, but I never used it for that, and obviously now that I use it for polymer I will never use it for that again, but I just use that to create the little pattern on top. I love intricate pieces of jewelry, intricate pieces of art from like the Art Nouveau period. I love things from India and Morocco, and they always seem to have just such beautiful little intricacies to them. So I like adding these little things to my pieces. So I'm going to do this on all of them, and then we will be set to start painting. I use Pearl-Ex little mica powders. They come in a variety of colors. I mean, a whole ton. I don't have nearly as many as I would like, but if you don't have the money for that, a cheaper option that I just recently learned about would be like the mineral eyeshadows. Apparently those work pretty well too, so it's an option if you'd like. Now Lisa said that her favorite color is blues and turquoises, so I'm going to try for the first time, my first one, just creating the centerpiece in like a blue color, so that, just see how these look. I'm going to do a variety of color combinations, and once I have chosen one, I'll send it to Lisa and see what she thinks. And I'm just using any tiny little art brush that you can find. I'm applying this directly onto the unbaked clay because I personally like for the clay to absorb some of this color. I'm a real stickler about stay fast color, so for me it just works better for me to do it this way. And then later on, once it's fully baked and everything's in it and the eye pin is in it and I know it hasn't broken or done anything silly like that during the process of making it, then I will go over it one last time, and I'll also include a sealer in that coat so that it really stays very well. What I'm going to do now is show you gluing in the crystals. I tend, because I'm a stickler for things lasting as long as humanly possible, I put transparent liquid Sculpey on there first before I press the crystals in. It just creates a nice glue, essentially, to really help that to stay in. So I just put a little dab, press my crystal on top, and I'll just push it right into the clay. A little bit of that liquid Sculpey is going to come on top. I'll just dab that away. Mainly that's just so that I don't have a glop, little goopy thing there. But it's going to dry clear, so I'm not really concerned about it, creating any sort of problem. And I'm just going to do that for the other one. I'm just doing this right now to show you how you go about putting these crystals in there. So, just going to press this one in as well. And there you go. Now we're ready to talk about our beaded channels that are in our earring. Now the cross that she just bought has little gold seed beads around the crystal, so I'm going to have gold seed beads in her beaded channel as well, but because I like to add a little bit more sparkle to my jewelry, I'm going to alternate the seed beads with double cut check glass bugle beads. They're a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see them. I've alternated them here, but they're a little smaller than the typical bugle bead, and the reason I like them is they don't have a sort of unruly length that would be way too long for these small earrings, but they still give you that hint of sparkle, and I love sparkle. So anyway, I've just strung them. I've alternated the beads on a piece of fishing line, and what I'm going to do is take a toothpick and dip it in my liquid polymer again, and I'm just going to run it along that channel. Sort of get it in there, and then I'm going to take my beads, push them together, and kind of fit them into that little channel and press them in, and then very gently just remove my fishing line, and I'll just clean up any edges that might have a little bit of that liquid polymer still there. And there you go. So I'm going to do this on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to do it obviously on the rest of my earrings as well, and then we will move on to putting in the eye pins. Okay, so my next task is to put the eye pins in, which is the tricky part. And this is usually where things sort of go wrong. I'm going to cut it fairly short. I don't need a lot to go in my polymer. And I'm just taking flat nose pliers to do this part. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to, oh so gently, this is something I can only just say goes with practice. The longer you've been doing this, the easier it will come. But I'm just going to insert this into my clay so that it creates the little eye pin for my filigree part to attach to, like this one. So I'm going to do that on all of these, and then it will be time for us to bake finally.